Okay, so I'm going to try and go through this without it being a hour-long video, but just kind of showing how I use it and why I think it's like by far just the best pedal ever. You can't see my full board because I wanted to make sure that we were zoomed in enough to where you can see the screen, everything that's going on. But my chain is I'm going into my compressor first, from the compressor going into the RJM. Through the RJM is when it goes through all the different loops, which the loops are blue channel of the protein in channel 1, green channel of the protein channel 2, DRV in channel 3. I've left channel 4 open just in case I wanted to add another drive. I used to run 4 drives. The POG is in channel 5 and channel 6 is also open. Everything else is MIDI. So after we go through all those loops, there's a tuner out, so that's just always active. And I do have the volume pedal in one of the loops in here also. Not one of these 6 loops, it actually has an insert loop, and that's just good to have in case I'm ever in the middle of something and, I don't know, my volume pedal dies or something like that. I have a way to just quickly take it out of my chain. And then from there, it goes to my Kemper or the Iridium or Axe FX, whatever my amp setup is, comes back into the board, goes into Iridium, stereo out from the Iridium into Mobius, from the Mobius into timeline into the Mako D1 up there, and then from the Mako into the Big Sky, and that's the last thing in my chain. And all of those, besides the Iridium, are MIDI controlled. So beauty of the PBC is really just, being able to set it up, for songs and such. It is essentially the most customizable pedal ever. Like, I have it now set up for a way that works for me, but cool thing is that like you can make any tweak known to man on it to make it work for you. So everything is done in pages essentially. So like this is the front main page. We see that it's Battle Belongs. From here, I can go through my different presets that I made for it. There's the verse. I do a shimmer effect on the first chorus. There's a regular chorus, and there's the bridge. I programmed this to be a tap tempo in case we ever go off script on something. Then no matter what patch I'm on, I can just change the tempo of it. And then this foot switch over here is what goes through the different songs, and I'll talk about Setlist in a little bit. So yeah, that's the first page. When we hit function is what takes you through all your different pages. My second page is essentially what turns this into like a standard true bypass looper, which this is a great mode to have whenever you do go off script, because I'll turn everything off right now. So right now, the way that I have it set up, it comes stock. You can see where it says like L1, L2, L3. So stock, those are for each loop. So you got loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The way that I programmed it is this is still loops 1, 2, and 3. So we got protein blue. You can also change the LEDs to do whatever color you want. So I made that one blue. It also tells you what it is quickly up there. Got protein green, got the DRV. I put the POG here, and that's what I was talking about with being able to move around your loops, because even though the POG is in loop 5, I wanted it here. Loop 6, this is another reason why I love this. It is controlling the Mako D1. Even though the Mako D1 isn't actually going through a loop on here, it's all MIDI controlled. I programmed this button to send the MIDI command for on and off. So it's kind of hidden by up here, but you can see the light kick on with it. Also, on only this page, this foot switch controls what preset the POG is on, because it's also MIDI controlled. So you can see as I hit it, it's going up and down my presets. Next page takes me to my Strymons, and I color-coded them as well so you can quickly see which one is which. I made it to where left and right goes up and down through the presets, so you can see the Big Sky changing, timeline, Mobius. And then I also made it to where mainly for the Mobius, because Timeline and Big Sky pretty much stay on at all times. If I hold down this one, it turns it on and off. And then since that's the last of my pages, I hit it one last time and it goes back to the regular one. So the reason why this is great to have things like that is also for changing your presets on the fly. A lot of the other switchers, like I had a Musicom Lab, the Boss ES5, Disaster Area, like a lot of them, to make changes, you have to go through a lot of menus to where, we'll use this song as an example. You know, maybe at home, I programmed all of these to use very specific effects, and then I get to the actual gig and find out that, okay, this overdrive that I'm using, or this, you know, the preset that I chose for my Big Sky, it's not the right fit. It needs to be something different. Well, instead of me going through a ton of menus, like let's say that for this intro, I had programmed it to have the, you can kind of see right there, I think you see in the video, yeah, loop 2, loop 5, so that's Protein Green and Pog, and then of course whatever shows up on the Strymons. Let's say that I wanted to do something completely different for the intro. Well, all I got to do is just go to my overdrives or to my looper section, and I actually want the blue channel. I don't want the Pog anymore. I'll keep the D1. Oops, wrong one. And then I want a heavy reverb instead. I've made my changes. You see it says here, hold to store. I just hold it down and it's stored. That is amazing in a rehearsal setting, to where you could be literally in the middle of playing the song and go, oh, I need to make this change real quick. I want this instead. And before the section's even done, you've made your change. Like, that's absolutely amazing. Right now, I have, for all of my songs and such, this is not in a set list mode, and so I can literally just scroll through any song that I can think of. Over time, you just start to build up how many songs are in there. I currently have, I think, 81 songs stored on here. But beauty of it is being able to do set list. So to get to your settings, you hold down 1 and 3. And yeah, you can see in the video. Right now, it shows the set list as all songs. I have different set list program. Like Weekend is the one that I'll live in most of the time when I'm not traveling. But whenever I am traveling, you know, most of the time you have, you get there on day 1, you have a night 1 session, morning 2 session, night 2 session. And so I go in and I have like Monday PM, Tuesday AM, all of those. But I say for the most of the time, I just live in Weekends. Once you select that, you hit exit. This past weekend, or this past event that I did, you know, we did Glory to Glory, into Hallelujah for the Cross, you know, so there's my setup. Cool thing is, though, is yes, I set those up on my computer through a USB cable, but once we got there, I was told that we were actually adding in the blessing, which I already had programmed. So all I had to do was jump back into settings. I always do that. Come down to edit set list. We're editing the weekend set list. And I threw in the blessing as the 3rd song. It was as easy as that. I didn't have to freak out going, well, shoot, I need to pull up my computer and plug it in and do all that. You can do everything that you need to do here, you know, on the pedal itself. I love that it's got very easy to follow menu buttons. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much infinite routings on this thing. It's got control galore on it. I used to have it to where I had a, when I had my Superbolt on here, I was able to run a function cable out from this into the red remote of the Superbolt. And I had it programmed, because Superbolt was in channel 3, I had it programmed to where just tapping it made it to where it would, of course, activate the loop. But then if I held it for like a quick second, it would activate the red remote function. So it's just, you know, little things like that that make it really nice. Another hold function that I programmed was, even though this is up and down for songs, at any time if I hold down this top one, it goes to a very ambient swell setting, and then I just jump. And this swell setting is for any of my presets. It's what's called a global preset, one that I can access at any time. And then when it's time to go back into playing, just do that. If I hold down this bottom one, I think you remember me telling you that I am way too big of a fan of the Pog. I use octave all the time. And so sometimes I might just be in the middle of, playing something. Like here's a part that has the DRV going, and I just decide I want to rip into a lead line, and then in the middle of a lead line decide I want the Pog. Instead of me having to, it's just, it's a small change, but instead of me having to go function, turn on Pog, and then go back to here to get ready for the next change, I just hold down this. And it turns the Pog on and off. Yeah, that's how I have it set up. Like I said, you can make any change on demand on it to make it work for you, but that's why I love this thing.